Good morning, good afternoon, LinkedIn friends, Valley First Nation. Welcome to another episode of Tech Stack Reimagined. We're building the ultimate AI native workspace today. How you doing, Nico?
Doing well, sir. Doing very well. Working on some cool new stuff. Moving into that new frontier, that next level, um, and that seems to be the case, or the pace, as it were, for me. Like I love everything that's happening right now.
Yes, I
What
do as
yourself?
well. And you're about to see why. I'm going to do hopefully a clippable demo here of that we can put in front of leaders that says no more excuses. Um, that's my attempt here. So I'm just gonna dive right in and share my screen. We did this a couple weeks ago,
Mhm.
with George, and we talked about the tools but I have a specific audience in mind, and that is the sales rep user who doesn't have time for anything until the next deal shows up, and now we've got lots of time to make slides and spreadsheets and have lots of meetings. And yeah, this is. I think we can have an impact with that person here. So let's say that person is on the other side, and we're going to treat this as like a little training exercise that includes an outcome that might be needed that day. Okay.
Okay.
So we're on GitHub.
Mhm.
Um, and some of these pieces are interchangeable. Uh, some probably not as much. I'm going to sign up for GitHub. And if you need to explain this, it's a repository of information.
It's
Uh,
I don't want to.
and
No, I don't want to make it that simple. It is a code repository that can be used for other types of information, but the way in which it is different from like Google Drive, right? There's there's a different way, it's a nuanced way in which you have to handle working with the directory. It's not like copy paste, just drag and drop for everything.
we'll get there. You got to
Yeah.
remember who we're talking to.
No, I
Let's
do, and that's why I just want to caveat that, like, try not to get it mixed, like, too easy.
Well, the thing is, we have to start from the place where as we go forward, we're gonna like the end state that we're gonna ask you to work in, which is known as the command line interface, uh, is working off of your local folder infrastructure. So the like Windows Explorer,
Mhm.
right? It's gonna feel just like that. Let's say sales rep. You know what? Let's say a sales presentation maker. Give you a little bit of context foreshadowing there. Uh, create repository. Okay. For now, we're done in GitHub. We're going to go over to Vercel.com. There's a number of options here. This is my choice that I made without really evaluating any alternatives, and it's working out for me. So we're going to sign up here. I'm working on, let's say, personal projects because we're just a salesperson trying to get stuff done.
Make it in the world.
And we probably don't have organizational support or the tools that we need to get this deal done. So we're just going to go out on our own and find them. Not sure if I could have fun with the name there, but I'm not going to. We're going to continue. Uh, I'm going to continue with GitHub actually here since
Okay.
we just made that account. And these are the two things that for me, make the magic happen in tandem. I'm gonna, all right, I'll get the code here.
Like the stand-up speed is very nice. And I actually just what's funny is like this is 3-step, and I just went through a 2-step with a client of mine.
Yep.
Google.
It's I mean, we welcome all excuses after what
Oh yeah.
I'm showing you,
Yeah.
because they don't hold any water. We're going to install GitHub as an app inside of Vercel here so that we can link the two, and Vercel is going to be like an auto publisher of everything or things we choose to from GitHub. Because now I'm going to import this Git repository. And we're just going to deploy, even though there's nothing to deploy yet. There's nothing in the repo. We're just connecting the dots here. All right, doesn't contain the rest. Big red air, like quote, air box here. Nothing to worry about. And at this point, this is where Nico might help me out because I'm trying to do something I've never done before. And I've already downloaded anti-gravity and tried that, but I know Cursor can
Are you
do
trying to use
this
a web version?
as well. I'm just trying to download something that
Gotcha.
has not hit this computer before. So we got to download Cursor.
Yeah, either Cursor, Windsurf.
Download for Windows. And while I'm here, I'm gonna, yeah, probably during the setup, we can set up the account. I'll accept the agreement. Yeah, looks good. Okay. Installing Cursor. Meanwhile, getting ahead of the sales reps can't spend time building apps or they have any ideas of what they could build in this world that we're describing. Well, my thesis is that we can make this very much like building slides. And if we can successfully tie to that use case, we can have success with this motion. And as an example that everybody should be familiar with, as I get Cursor going here. All right, I'm going to sign up because I don't have a Cursor account. Brings us back to the website. Continue to sign in. I'm going to continue with Google this time just because I'm messy. Now, this is if your organization has done nothing to help, right? Like nothing is in place, right? Nothing has been set up. That's what we're working with right now. Customize your experience. How do you plan to use Cursor? Well, a team would be wonderful, but can't count on that just yet.
No.
Which role best described to you? Of course, sales is not even on here. That makes sense. So we're just going to say other, continue, start your pro plan. Can we skip that for now or we got to pay?
Skip for now.
All right.
Because there are free models that you could use. You want to tell us everything you're doing?
Yeah, we're a fraidy cat with that stuff. So view settings, connect GitHub for cloud agents.
Boom.
That's what we want to connect to. Authorize cursor. Now we're back in GitHub, by the way, installing and authorize the connection to cursor. Feel how easy this is. Session expired, okay. But did it? I'll try again. Yeah, see, it didn't. It's here to manage, so it's connected. This is why everybody needs a little hand holding right now, because there's lots of the error messages that just require a refresh of the screen. Then all of a sudden the error is gone. Okay, so got that locked in. I'm going to open cursor back up and go to log in. It should be continue, right? Log into cursor desktop. Yes, log in. All set. Feel free to return to cursor. I have never gone through that process before, folks. And it is not about how smart I am. It's about how easy that was. Import from VS Code. No. All right. Terminal. I don't really want to do that either because we're going to be using Claude Code. Continue. And it brings us back over to a different window because why not? Clone repo is what we want to do to get started. And see, it says clone from GitHub here. GitHub wants to sign in using GitHub code. This is something I learned after several times of doing this. This button also copies the code for you as you click it. So when you come here, you just have to paste. All right, gonna authorize. This is funny how this
So they all show up the same way.
Visual Studio Code. Oh, okay. I thought I was using cursor. Okay. Just kidding. All right, we're all set. Back here. So now the repo that I want to clone has already shown up here. So I'm going to click that. We're going to select a destination. And let's see where I've been putting it. Documents in GitHub. And we'll put it there. Would you like to open the cloned repository? Open. And install CLI. This is what I get for trying something brand new. But we can do it. I'm going to go to the terminal. And I don't imagine it'll be this easy, but we'll find out. Okay, there it is. So I just typed in Claude there.
Yeah, but you didn't. I mean, like, did you do the CLI command for installing it?
Not yet.
But that's what I'm saying. It's like you're already pulling it up. Yeah.
Okay. So there's an install command here.
Yeah.
That we missed because it's already
No.
installed
Yeah, exactly.
on the computer, right?
Well, so here's the thing. I would say don't worry about that step, okay? Because even here in cursor, what you would want, like what you could do to shortcut it, to not even have to worry about like installing it on the CLI, blah blah blah. I'm fairly sure this will work. I hope. Live demos. I think you can go to, let me see, either let's see, file. Nope, never mind. It's on the other side. Now I'm pointing to it, like you can see it.
Yep.
Extensions. It's the fourth icon over. Yep. And then
Yep.
search Claude Code. And then install. And so what you can do after you've installed this extension is there will be an option within the extension to run Claude Code in the command line. So one where 6 in one, half dozen in the other. Installing it on the command line, not difficult. It is what it sounds like. You would open the terminal, you run one command, and it installs Claude Code. Like it's that simple.
Yep.
But this is
Yeah.
just like the visual install way, I guess you could call it.
Yep. Um, and so this is our repo folder here. It's got nothing in it, right? And uh, our idea is, um, I'm just going to say, like, so again, sales rep, I've got a presentation coming up, and I've heard it's easy to turn slides into websites or something to that effect. I've got to make another slide deck that I would love for it to be personalized, and I don't like the idea of sending it back and forth with the brand team. We don't do that anyways. So I just grab what I need to try and personalize this deck. Maybe I download a logo from the prospect's website. And say, hey, Claude, I have a
Wait, this whole
sales.
time I thought you were dictating that.
Oh, no. It should be probably. Hey, Claude, I have a sales deck that I would like to turn into a polished website for my upcoming uh, sales prospecting call. You can tell I do this every day. Uh, can you help me with that?
Sure.
And the example, so he says right away, I'd be happy to turn your sales deck into a polished website. Let me first explore your project to see what you're working with. Got nothing in there. So I'm curious what he's gonna come back with. I have something to give him, and I'll just show that while he's exploring, right? So this is a deck that I created as a template for conveying your message previously, and it's got, you know, uh, usual topics, trying to sell, RevOps Realized as a program, talk about how it works, what I care about, all that stuff, right? So sales deck. As I was searching for this, um, uh, I saw all of the other versions of it that included the client name with it as I continued to iterate and try to personalize it
Okay.
as you build it for each interaction, right? Um, so I'm going to uh, download this as a PDF. Again, lots of different ways you can do this, but I'm making an assumption that salesperson has probably already downloaded it to his local desktop and it's no longer controlled. Um, so we're going to bring it in here. Claude says the project is currently empty. It's a fresh repository ready for development. To help you create a polished website from your sales deck, I'll need access to your presentation. Could you, one, share your sales deck file, copy your PowerPoint, PDF, or image files into this project folder, or let me know the file location if your deck is stored elsewhere on your computer. share the path, and I can work from there. I'm going to close this. Once I can see your deck content, I can help you create a clean, professional website that presents your sales material effectively. What format is your sales deck in? All right, well, it's right over here. And I'm just going to click it from my downloads folder and I'm going to put it in here to bring it into the folder. And then I'm going to drag it down to the command line and just say, here you go. Being nice. Like, will this work? Let me take a look at your sales deck PDF.
So great. This is the point at which you start using your repository as like more like file storage, for sure.
Yeah. And again, no brand documentation, like nothing, literally. Claude Code is just working off of this folder, nothing else on my computer. I can see your sales deck. It's a comprehensive presentation for conveying your message, a sustainable growth agency focused on RevOps, demand generation, and customer experience. The deck includes buyer's journey framework, RevOps roadmap, 4-week schedule, 3 core pillars, service offerings and pricing examples, content marketing strategy, and your bio. What style of website would you prefer? Single page scrolling, multi-page site, interactive slides. Let's go with we want to keep a great let's keep it focused on a sales presentation. So I'm going to go with single page scrolling and kind of forgo my wish to show how awesome this really could be. So single page scrolling, show the example investment figures from your deck. Yes, because I'm a transparent salesperson who wants to build trust immediately instead of hide the truth. Submit answers. Yep. And in my mind, I was like, give me all 3. Because we're going to do some iteration. But the main goal of this is like, we've got to find a way to overcome the challenge of, oh, I'm not going to know how to use that, or, oh, that's going to be hard. When in reality, like, especially in sales, you're expected to either be good at slides already or know enough to make slides. Like,
Right.
and that's getting easier, right? But like, there's no moment of you don't have to make slides. Like, so no matter how hard it is, no matter that we don't give you training on how to do it, you got to get it done. And that can be said for the whole Microsoft stack of technology. So this concept of like, oh, it's going to be too hard. Like, no, it's just not okay. So Claude is already
reality.
right. And however long this takes, it's going to be faster than the way that people usually create decks. Right. And again, this is without any business context at all. Everybody has folders and folders of content that already exists and this is why you need to bring in or need to develop the capability of AI, orchestration and context engineering and all that stuff, which you probably already have people in your organization that can do that. You might call them admins right now. Um, but yeah,
And you need to find them, and you need to actually make use of them. And like the way in which you make use of them, I'm not even joking, is like kind of let them off the chain, point them at the use cases and let them off the chain at it. And you'll get the solution faster than you ever thought possible. Like the easiest way I can explain it.
yeah, it's all right.
Because
We've
it
got
takes somebody who's like, I mean, we've talked about this. Like, yeah, you definitely have to have curiosity. You definitely have to have like a want, right, to like do more and like go further and that kind of thing. But you absolutely have to like be able to express passion too, right? Like passion and creativity. Because it's just kind of like a natural effect of doing this. So I think, that's it's a skill set we've talked about that like you're not going to find in your traditional pedigree mindset of corporate hiring and thinking about employees and thinking about what skill set like deserves to be in the role versus like actually needs to be in the role, right?
yeah. And so we've got something to look at locally. Now, this is a local HTML preview at the moment.
And this is
That
inside of like, you know, while we're chatting here for like inside of 10 minutes, right?
Yep. So I've created a polished single page website for your sales presentation. Here's what's included: everything from the deck, design features. I gave no instructions there, zero instructions given because I'm a salesperson. I don't know how that stuff works, right? Don't even ask me. I'm just glad that Claude did not ask me. Sometimes that'll happen. You'll just be like, hey, man, you're the expert, like, not me. Like, do whatever, right? To view the website, and this is where I was going to go into Vercel. We're going to like do all that. But he suggested, uh, and then this open it in a browser was the like auto complete option. And all I did was hit enter and it opened it in a browser. So as we look at the browser, I mean, I'm not going to go into all the details here, but yep, it's got all the stuff. Notice we don't have the pictures. It took some liberty with the logo, right? Um, that's easy stuff to fix. But we can't share it with anybody like this. So we're gonna see if we can get it onto Vercel, which I haven't told Claude this part yet, right?
Okay.
So instead of saying, "Can you host this somewhere?" I'm gonna say, uh, "Looks great. I'd like this to be published with Vercel. Um, I will be sharing a Vercel URL after the sales presentation. Um, based on this, do you need to do anything else before I can share it? I'm trying so hard to not use like
Not,
use the
not
real words I would use here.
right. Yeah, exactly. Trying to
Uh,
use like regular that's what's weird, right? So and and what Chris is pointing out is a legit problem that even I'm like having to like pull myself back from because uh what's funny is initially in order to like work better with the models, I had to, we had to like sort of verbally extend the olive branch via like lexicon where you're using some development language in order to bridge the gap so that the model understands more precisely what it is that you need. Well, as it's as it's come along, it's changed to be far more driven by natural language such that, at least in my experience, to get it to work super accurately is almost a matter of like how well can you draw a metaphor to a human scenario or situation related to the function that you're trying to get, right? Like if you can explain to explain to Claude or explain to whichever model you're working with how what you want should work by using like an everyday human experience, mechanic, situation, process, it will very easily be able to map that as like a coded process. Oddly enough, the moment you start saying anything like PRD, PWA, like repository, blah blah blah, it's almost like fireworks to the model that's like, oh shit, oh damn, he's okay, he's a little bit of a coder developer. I can start going deeper with my explanations and I don't have to like try to do all this like crazy, cross stuff. And it honestly, like your project can be going so well and you say the wrong, like it's so weird. You'll say the wrong thing and it just starts going sideways. And it's like, wow, man, like what happened? And I've actually gotten to that point where like I'm a mile down the road in the wrong direction. And I'm just like, hey, how did we even get here in the first place? Like what happened? Like we were doing like so well, and then all of a sudden, like we're way over here. Like what gives? And it was like, well, you said this. So I guess I focused in on that too much. And what I said was like, I don't know, I was asking it something about the code base, about like reviewing a part of the code base. And so it was like, yeah, well, I mean, I just figured that, I would just make that part of the process like going forward, because you mentioned that that was really important. And I was like, yeah, no, I did, but like I only said that when you're doing like major updates and stuff like that. I didn't say like every time I ask you a question or every time you're going to do something. Like you don't have to like take that so seriously. Like, yeah, all right, like maybe peel it back. Like I've noticed that it's, I don't know, especially when it comes to giving commands, and that's forced me to go on that, to go down that agent trail where it's just like, yeah, I don't know. The standard interface is like it's really good. I highly suggest getting into skills like quickly. They could definitely get you out of trouble. So like um one of the like pretty much anything that you have as a skill, you can also, well, I don't know how we're going pretty deep pretty quickly. Um
well, this
'Cause
is like
like the
this.
Claude file, like that, to me, the Claude file is to your project what your project is to like GitHub, right? Like it is the central thing that controls what Claude is going to do or what any agent is going to do via Claude code in your project. So like any modification you make in there, so much as like, some people are like, oh, the null file, right? And it's like, okay, well then just tell Claude to make it a part of the process that anytime, it's reviewing the code base before it does the commit, to look for that null file, and if it's there, delete it, and then go ahead and do the commit, right? Um, Once you start getting into that world of like, oh shit, I can actually like direct what it is the agents can do, like the you start turning the heat up, and yeah, it starts going in directions you really, really didn't think were possible. And honestly, you start getting like such a greater understanding for what it means to work with AI and what it means to work with agents. And you bridge that gap so seamlessly, in my opinion. Like Zach, right? Like I think everybody that we have interacted with when doing anything like this has had that the same experience where like their eyes just light up and it's over. They're gone. Like they're off on their own. You really don't even have to like say much again. Like they just kind of just go and just start exploring and then just explode from there, doing more, doing more, doing more. Um, I think my wife's on her like third app or something like that. Like, and at this point, she's just doing them in the background and then just telling me about them later, right? It's not even like it's starting to become like this second language, like secondhand skill thing, right? And I really do think this is, we've been telling you to get into AI, and it's mainly, I wouldn't say it's in preparation for this. What do you think? Do you think you could not have been like into actually using GPT and Claude Code and that kind of stuff and still gotten into like, using all of this? Like if you hadn't been
I
doing,
mean, yeah, that's what I'm trying to prove that we can do, right? Um,
well, like, so I know it's possible. Yeah, like that's
we
what I'm
have
saying,
to reach
especially at
that
this point, right?
group of people, and that's why I think the key is the AI native, like explanation, right?
Mhm.
Like digital native, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
before we all had phones in our hand and social media networks. Like that was not normal, like to go and do that. And I'm not
right.
saying that was the healthiest thing that has ever happened. But when you can, let's say when you're like a business professional, right? Like you can start to connect these dots where this thing will help me get my job done and I believe it and I trust it. Like those are the two boxes that we have to like check now because SaaS has been selling a promise for like 25 years that rarely does it deliver on. And so everybody has their guard up about how this is really going to work, right? So like step 1 is getting them to believe that it actually can work. Um but if you're there, like we haven't seen anybody like go back. Like this is not something that's been, oh man, cool. Like I use it for a couple hours. I'm gonna come back next week and like figure out how to like work it in to my usual like workflow. Like, nope, that's not happening. Like
Mm,
it's that moment of like, oh, there's no way I can like like this is easier, just point blank, easier and more powerful. Outcomes are better. Like, why would I want to do it any other way? So, uh, yeah, even this moment of like, it, like there was troubleshooting that needed to be done here, and I was just pressing enter and following directions.
right.
Right. That's where the trust and the belief that we can get to the end point is where leaders and the AI architects and AI orchestrators of the organization need to cover up your teams with this support, right?
Mhm.
And you can make it so that they're less likely to run into these things. But the power of this is being able to interact with Claude here as if he is like a colleague sitting next to you, and that you can just get through whatever might come up. And I'm not surprised that thing happened, because the way that I chose to log into the different spaces
Yep.
was different. And like I said, I'm messy, so I'm gonna just choose Google over here. We'll go right to GitHub over here. And naturally something came up that I had not had to deal with before. Um, but uh, we got through it. Pushed successfully. Your code is now on GitHub, which was the goal, right? Uh, I've already done Vercel, so now I'm expecting, like he says here, we've already imported the repository, and it will auto deploy. You'll get a URL like salespresentationmaker.vercel.app. So Claude can't see this. He can't see that. He's just making an educated guess there. And let's see how good of a guess that is. We're going to go back to Vercel. I'm just going to go back to the home page, or all right, we've got our project here, sales presentation maker. Look at that. The exact URL that Claude said it would be.
Mhm.
We're going to dismiss this and then this. Actually, I like this new view. And then we're going to click on here and click on here. And so I still got to fix the logo, but this is a shareable URL that I'm going to share with Nico over here. And then I'm going to stop sharing so that Nico can pull it up on his side. No wizards behind the curtain, at least not the humans. Like there's AI.
Go ahead and share screen. Okay. And then pull up.
Oh, there we go.
And here we are. Mission, pillars. Fully interactive. All right. Pricing, go to about.
Oh, got my headshot there.
Schedule consultation. Cuts
Got
right
my
up.
meeting link. And those were suggestions by Claude. That was like, hey, do you have a headshot? Oh, wow. Got LinkedIn there too. The website. Oh, man. And he asked for the meeting link. I happen to have that handy. And so if you're going to tell me that we can't do that inside the time it would have taken somebody to build a new Google Drive set of slides, Google Slides, right? PowerPoint deck. And now the part that you would become very familiar with very quickly, and this is what it's AI native shift 4-week program I'm trying to put in your hands, leaders. Now that you have that foundation, and let's say you put it on a, presentations.yourcompany.com domain, which you can do with Vercel for $20 a month. By the way, everything that we just did free apps,
Yep.
right? Um,
Well,
and
with the exception of Claude Code.
true. Yep. So $20 a month for
Right.
Claude Code. And
So
but if you
$20 a month to do something that you probably would have paid. I mean, like, you can't do that with Wix. You're not going to get that outcome. So then you got to pay somebody to do it. And if you pay somebody on Fiverr, good luck. If you pay somebody legitimately to do it, that would have cost you, even just for that bare functionality, would probably have set you back like $500 to $1,000, right? Depending. As like silly as that may seem, right? But that's, even if it costs you $200, right? Your app subscription to Claude will build you $20,000 worth. You know what I mean? Like, the value that you're getting is exponential by comparison to the investment that you're making. Like, that's the real, like, story here. That's the real point, is that at the very end of the day, you're getting back value that at a, again, at such a rate. I think even every study that's been done right now is like minimum 3 to 4 to 1, and maximum is showing like 10 to 12 to 1 now ratio. So for every dollar invested, you are minimum getting back $3 to $4. And in some cases, you're getting back $10 to $12 for every buck you put in. If I had to dollar out one of the softwares that I built that I use for GTM, what I was using to do this would have cost us $300 to $500 a month, depending, right, on your average signal based service. It's now $80 a month. Actually, it could be less if I wanted it to be, but it's about $80 a month. And it scales ridiculously. So if I wanted to scale it for another 10 businesses, it would barely break $150 a month. So, like, and when I say scales, like cost scales. So like the value for what I'm getting for what I'm paying is so ridiculously worth it that you couldn't possibly, I couldn't possibly go back to any other tool. I would never use another tool ever. And this tool that I'm using will only ever get cheaper. So why would I? Like, that's the other aspect of it, is like, once you start doing this stuff, you also start to realize like, hey, I can save my, especially as a startup, as a medium-sized business, even as a large scale or enterprise business. There are apps and softwares that you're using. The number one thing, all you need as a use case, is what you wish your platform could do, but it's not doing. Now, unless the platform is like full scale, like trying to replace your CRM or something like that. Now, let's talk about that though. Replacing your CRM, right? Well, again, as a startup, like, how much of a CRM do you need? Right? Like, do you just need sending email capability, like marketing emails? Do you need storing contact capabilities and managing those? Do you need like being able to manage like deals and pipeline and stuff like that, and like report on it? Okay, well, everything probably up into reporting, because that can, I can speak from experience. I can get very heavy very quickly. Um, Depending on what you want to report on. If you want to report on like some basic surface level stuff, totally fine. But as you start getting into like more advanced reporting, um, you have to start getting into the library. It gets complicated. Um, but even in terms of a CRM, like all the basics are super doable. Like you need one thing, right? You just you have to just need technically you don't. Depends on how small the operation, right? But most businesses going to scale. So uh and you can even ask Claude and it'll walk you through this whole process. And in most cases, it can just set you up with stuff. You can just tell it like, "Hey, I got an API key for this, or I have an account for this, or like, how do we do this?" And it'll tell you, "Oh, if you go get this account." And you can even say, like, I need the most cost effective way of doing this. Can you go search and find, whatever it is? And it will. It'll just go search and find and do whatever it needs to in order to figure out how to get you what you need. Right. Um, yeah, like there's no it's very much like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, like once you start really getting into this kind of stuff. Um, so yeah, I seriously agree. But I don't know. It's like again, you have to want to do it like on some level. I don't know what whether it's just like seeing it, like seeing is believing type thing, which we try to do all the time. I don't know if it's
It's definitely
do hands
seeing
on.
seeing is believing, and it's like easier to believe when you can be hands on and actually do it on your side. That's where like you also can't think of this as like another app or piece of software that's just gonna solve it and be like, okay, sales team, like go like watch this video from Chris and Nico and start doing your slides like this. Like, I mean, it's gonna work more often than it has in the past, but there's lots of other things related to change management that the leaders you have to step in and deal with because if 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 my identity as a sales rep has been tied to I make really damn good slides. I'm so good at personalizing this shit. Like that's how I win my deals. And I just ask you to use a tool where AI does that, like almost it's good or maybe even better than you do, right? That's a
Mhm.
reason for me not to adopt that tool.
Yeah,
If you don't tell me
yeah, that's
what
fair.
I'm going to do now, what my values, what kind of value I can create is going to be now, if you just basically took that away, right? And I think this has been behind a lot of SaaS lack of adoption over the years. Is that it's hard to get people to come out and admit that's what they're worried about. But at some point, you're like, oh, my job is data entry, and you tell me we're going to automate that. So what's my job? And if you don't tell me, I'm gonna think I might not have a job after we implement this software,
Right.
right? So there's so much nuance to it, but I don't know how if you're a leader and you watch this, like if you don't if you don't want to implement this tomorrow, like your people need a different leader.
Like all I am hearing now is, yeah, I have to get my people into it. Yeah, getting my entire, team into it. Yeah, I need to convert the whole team and like get them on it. Like to me, I mean, like again, like I'm right there with you where it's just like if you're not doing it, it's weird to me. It's just weird. It's like it is the equivalent of you telling me like, yeah, I just don't use computers, right? Because like that's we're at that next level where using the computer is one thing, but you're now using this like insanely high fueled capability, and it's everywhere, and it's multiple tools. So it's like, even if we weren't talking about this, right? To me, I think it's as simple as, in most cases, you're in a lot of people, you're in Google, right? And understanding Google Workspace and understanding like Notebook LM, right? Like, that's such an insanely powerful and valuable tool. And just playing around with it will, like, really, like, expand your mind in terms of, like, wow, these I didn't think any of this kind of stuff was actually possible, right? And it applies so widely across the board. Like, the number of use cases are, I don't know, it's crazy to me how many use cases like we see across the board. It's not like just software building, not, some people like advice for business decisions, for working with doing, homework with their kids, or putting like children's stories together, even building agents to actually like help their kids learn certain things, like more like Socratic methods of learning and stuff like that. Helping yourself in terms of either remembering things, or helping you keep your work straight, organizing your day, organizing your week, helping you again with personal decision making. There's so many different use cases. It's crazy to me, and especially once the on-device stuff, man. Like, once it's like full assistant, like, I don't know. Having Comet on my phone has been okay. It's not the greatest thing. It works better than GPT, but still not a full like phone assistant. But even Gemini is like not a full phone assistant. There's still this drawback from, like, well, we don't want to give it full control over the entire phone yet. It's like, yeah, but if it can't use my apps when I ask it to use my apps, then we're having a huge disconnect
Yeah.
here. Like, that is very much the nature of me wanting to do this, right? So I don't know if when they were talking about uh, when OpenAI was talking about wanting to do an operating system, if maybe they were leaning into like mobile, and maybe that's part of what they're going to be doing with the hardware. Like, I don't know, but I think I'm really sure both of us are definitely at that point where it's like, okay, ready to work with the assistant that does the stuff that you're just, I'm
Yeah.
absolutely at the point where I just want to have, like, basically a Ring camera on, like, or a GoPro or something on the back of my seat. And when I'm not here, I just look at the GoPro on my phone and have the earbud in my ear, and I'm just talking to Aries like, "Hey, you know, let's that's done. Okay, cool. Start working on this other thing." Right. And then when that's done, put it all together, put it in an email, send it over to Chris, give him the links in Slack, right? Let him know that everything's been taken care of, and then go back and start, planning out phase two or whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
That's where I'm at. Is just like, okay, well, if we can, and I'm seeing that like April, like
Yeah.
March,
I
April.
mean, real damn
Right.
close right now with the
Yeah.
Value First team, the work that Ryan and I have been doing in our operations repo, where, call transcriptions come in, stuff gets auto updated in HubSpot, client portal is automatically updated, and we're just scratching the surface, right? And that, like, what I want to show here is, so it took me 50 minutes about to go from 0 to 1 presentation,
Yep.
right? And now it's set up though, right? So while Nico was sharing, I um, I asked Claude, uh, already deployed, great work. What if I wanted to make it easy to personalize this for every prospect that I have a meeting with? Great question. Here's a few approaches. Uh, And as yep, so he asked me some questions. What information would you want to personalize? I chose company plus industry focus. Kept it simple right now. One of the options was to customize every single content block on the page, which I wanted to select really badly. But again, trying to make this consumable in a video. How do you want to manage the personalization? URL parameters was the recommendation. And so he updated the code to support that, pushed the update, gave me some example links. And I said, awesome. Can we do an example for HubSpot.com? He needed the Vercel URL still to do that. And then quickly gave me a personalized example, which notice that at the end here, it's got HubSpot contact equals Yamini.
Yeah.
Right. And so here's the original, right? Plain Jane version.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the HubSpot version. Prepared for HubSpot. We understand that tech companies often scale faster than their operation. Like it's for HubSpot now. And let's see what the other examples that he's already got ready. If I just copy this, I got Mike and manufacturing. And I'm gonna duplicate this. And just to see how good, right? So for HubSpot, we understand that tech companies often scale faster than their operations can support. That's a fact. For the manufacturing, we understand that manufacturing companies struggle with disconnected sales and production data. Like this is zero context in here when we started. Like, and that was 10 minutes. It took me 10 minutes to go from the 50-minute mark to 4 different presentations. Like, that's the magic, right? So now if this is in the hands of every person in the org with this foundation, we've talked about that so many times, and all the foundation builds, it's not going to get worse. So if you have somebody there working with AI to maintain this foundational layer of context and make sure it doesn't, go off the rails, which it definitely can do inside of your folder structures in local, environments. It's a dream.
Right.
This is stuff you've been wanting to. I'm not saying like this is like a solution with no problem, right? Like this situation, exactly what I asked of Claude. Can you make it so I can personalize it for every prospect? Every salesperson ever has asked that question. And the marketing team, oh yeah, just send us the logos, send us the information and we can make a personalized version, for you, and we'll have it back to you in 24 to 48 hours. Right? So I got this afternoon. I got the call this afternoon. So what happens? Somebody gets pissed off in that situation. It's either the salesperson because they can't get it in time and then they got to do it them damn selves, like which they do, right? Or marketing's got to change their whole priorities for the day because they serve sales. And now the big campaign that they've been working on gets pushed, and now we're probably working late that day because, hey, sales makes the money for the company. So they get to ask whatever they need, and we got to serve them, right? That's such an immeasurable value of what's happening here when you just remove those things from existence, right? And I was talking with Gemini earlier today, and like this layer of AI being able to enforce while being invisible, like such a huge impact, because how have we gone about like trying to enforce and get compliance with brand standards? It's like putting all these gates and forms and all these things in front of everybody that just pisses everybody off, creates so much inefficiency, and or costs a lot of money
Yeah.
to make sure it doesn't get in anybody's way, but still creates compliance.
Well, that's look, a lot of what is the partner ecosystem based, like, there are 2 main things that the partner ecosystem is based on. And it's only 2. There's no other reasons than these. Um, One is you don't have the time, so you'd rather spend the money, which that's the only one that makes the most sense. Like, the other one doesn't make sense, which is you need help to a degree where you need hand-holding, so you need to hire an agency to do stuff for you that seems too complicated for you to do. That's the one where it's like, "Hey, there's a lot of excuses in that explanation," right? Like, I don't have the time makes the most sense only because of the fact that hopefully you are getting the value for the money you're spending, and that's delivering on it so that you don't have to actually spend the time worrying about it. But that also means that the agency that you're working with isn't sucking up your time with valueless meetings like on a weekly basis or whatever, right? Like, hey, let's meet for 4 hours so I can learn everything about your business. And then, let's meet for like 2 hours, every week, or, 1 hour twice a week, or whatever the hell it is. Like, it shouldn't be that much, right? Like, it should be maybe a half hour touch base or something on a weekly basis to just say, here's how far along we are with things by comparison to last week. Do we need to make any updates or changes to anything? Okay, like, that's it. Let's move on. Let's move on with our lives and continue doing what we know we're supposed to be doing, right? If if you're a good partner and you're providing value to someone in terms of working with them for the first time, when you show up to the kickoff meeting, you should know everything about them. You should know so much about them that they feel like you've been working with them for like a year. And it's completely possible. It's like, if you don't think it's possible, and like, you somehow if you don't think it's possible, just come to me, right? Like, I don't care. I'm not charging for stuff anymore. I don't care. I just want people to, like, really understand what's possible, what's capable out there. Um, we do it all the time, but it's standard issue for me is that, like, if I'm working with some company, either I have some custom thing that represents your company somewhere. And at this point, it's becoming an agent, like, on my system, right? So, like, if you're a client of mine, there's an agent on my system that represents you, down to, like, the people that work there, right? Like, everything that's involved. It's because I can talk to you anytime I want to. If there are decisions that I'm thinking about making and thinking about running past you, I kind of have a little bit of insight of how you might react to those decisions based on all the transcripts we've had, based on all the email conversations we've had, based on all the Slack conversations we've had. all of that stuff gets put together, gets synthesized into a version of you, this mirror that I get to talk to, right? And then when I come to the meeting for 30 minutes, I'm not coming to that meeting with ideas that I think you're going to sit there and wrestle with for, more than the 30 minutes that we have. And 9 out of 10 times when I show up to the meeting, it's, yeah, okay, that's working and that's doing really well. And like, hey, what do you think about this? Like, yeah, that sounds like a good idea. It's right up our alley. And it's because I'm talking to this mirrored representation of that business, of that person, of that decision maker. So there isn't this mass amount of friction that requires us to have these ridiculous ass meetings where people are trying to understand each other and like just trying to get to know you and get into your customer's shoes and stuff. It's too easy now, way too easy. All of the cross referencing is there, all of the synthesis tools are there. Like, same app that so like you build a site and interactivity, like you build out a whole sales site in like 15-20 minutes. You go like integrated with another 15-20 minutes. Inside of an hour, you have your own personalized integrated website that people can go to know who you are, all about you, what you do, your product, book meetings with you. Like, spend another 10 minutes, incorporate your YouTube, have them watch your videos. Spend another, and when we say 10, like when we say 10 minutes, it's legitimately like, hey, make the request, go get a cup of coffee and come back in 10 minutes. It's not like, oh,
How
it's gonna
about
take you 10 minutes of sitting there like slaving over it and prompting and this. No, it's legitimately like, oh, here's the command. I gotta go do something. Let me know when you're done. Right.
yeah. Or maybe you're doing a LinkedIn Live, as the focus. And like on the side, you're like, oh, here's another idea.
Yep. Yep.
Uh, Another real life thing that happened. Can you give me a version based on a completely different product line or division of our company based on this website page? Uh, Great content. The AI Native Chef is a 4-week AI transformation program. Let me create a new version of the site for this offering. Uh, cool. That this is about 5 minutes, by the way. Now let me push to GitHub and show you the preview. Uh, he asked me if I wanted an example for HubSpot, like right out of the gate. So already I have a base version and a HubSpot specific, as if HubSpot were the prospect. What's included? The dark theme matches value first branding. So if it's changed, this shit happens in real life, folks. Just so you know,
Right.
like different business units, people get jealous of, man, they're getting all the marketing dollars over there. Like they got some super cool stuff. I'm in sales. I'm trying to sell this product. I don't get any support like this, right? I got to make my own decks, right? So this is, you don't have to push it through the dysfunction even. Like you're like,
Mhm.
oh, marketing's always focused on this. Okay, we're just going to take the examples of what they are doing and then make our own cool stuff. Vice versa, marketing. Yeah, we got to spend all our time making sales PDFs. I wish we could turn that into cool website stuff. We never get to spend time on our website, or we never get money for that. Right?
Mhm.
Like now I have 2 sales presentations. Again, I'm so happy they're not slide decks, right? They're websites. Both support personalization. How does the AI native shift page look? Again, zero context over here. All I
This
did
took
was
this
share
was so
one.
fast. Oh my god.
I shared
Sorry.
one website page. Okay, here we go. Prepared for HubSpot, even the AI native shift mindset, build, activate. Why optimization fails. Yamini, ready to make the shift. Oh man. And this was let me pull up the starting point here, right? Now, if you can put these pieces together, so this is the branded, designed, like all that stuff is over here,
Mhm.
right? So imagine, which is how this came to pass last weekend. I've got the rest of the site done. I've got a bright idea. I'm like, let's try to sell that too. That and and what happens in real life, especially in manufacturing, who are the ones that are building, new products? It's engineering, it's the scientists, right? And they're like, all right, guys, we got a new product to sell. Go sell it. And there's no marketing collateral. There's no slides. Like you might have a user manual, like they've done the work to do that part. You could take any of that stuff and be like, yo, we gotta sell some stuff. Like, and I've got somebody signed me up to sell 10 in this quarter,
Right.
right? And I don't have anything. I don't have any websites. I don't have marketing collateral. I don't have slides, right? So now we got to sit down for like a 90-minute brainstorming session and figure out how anybody's going to prioritize it over this other stuff, which is actually the original company goal. And now I've got to decide which one I want to focus on. And like that was 5 minutes, folks. Like, in that, so imagine that speed, not to mention all of the immeasurable benefits of putting your people in a position to be more successful than they've ever been anywhere in their life. And as everybody starts to feel that, like all of the anxiety, all of the dysfunction just starts to melt away because everybody is empowered to do their job. Like, no excuses, no more excuses. Um, so I'm gonna be a broken record, like for the next period of time until people like start to understand this.
I mean, it's really like I don't know, like how else to say it other than like it's really weird to me when anyone at this point says like, yeah, no, it's just it's not as like easy as you guys are making it out to be. And it's like, are you sure about that? Because like I'm really, really very sure that it's way easier than most of us are making it out to be. Like I don't know, on a daily basis, I run into like examples of uh, being able to do these things that most like I don't know that most people just wouldn't think possible, right? Um, so like even in like Claude or in like the case of Claude, uh, there's stuff that you could do that I don't know. It's like you don't really think about it unless you're actually doing the process. Which I mean by that I mean is like unless you actually start doing this stuff, you don't really have an understanding for like oh wow, I can actually take what I'm doing and go further. Wow, I can actually like I wouldn't say the majority, but a lot of the feedback I get from people is like I can take what I have in my head and turn it into a reality. Like I can finally like take all these ideas and stuff that I've had and like finally like visualize them. And it becomes this like super addictive feeling. And it's crazy because it's an addiction, but it's an addiction towards building value in some way, shape, or form. It's the first like positive yeah, it's the first positive addiction I can think of, right? Like there's really nothing I can think of that's negative from this outside of like, yeah, you might spend a little bit too much extra time at your computer, right? And like get a little too obsessed with it. But which of course, that's where it comes from. But anyhow, you eventually calm down and you start, organizing yourself. Uh and it does, it gets to a level where like, yeah, instead of having to, I mean, we've gone so far past like just querying the model, right? Like at this point, we live in this command line interface, right? Which is we were talking about, or at least I was talking about with you guys the other day, how like we've gone from having to have the graphic user interface because like you just can't imagine it any other way. And then every agent platform that worked with just seemed so like insufficient to me. Like none of them made sense. Like it just never really clicked. And the ones where it did click made me think that like, oh, it has to be in this way in order to work. So I have to understand like something I can't really still like wrap my head around. And then it's not until you do this that like you're at the core of it all. Like once you get to the actual, the best way I can put it is that everything else you're working with is like a finished version of a sandcastle. And as you get to this level, once you get to the command line level, now it's you building the sandcastle. You're working with the sand and like actually building whatever you want. And that's how it becomes. And because you have this thing that can do it for you, again, the limitation only becomes your imagination. It only becomes your ability to ask the question and be like, you know, can
Yeah.
I do this? And it's like, yeah, just ask, like, just ask it, like, hey, can I do this? Right.
Yeah. And your ability to ask the question, like that's what we have to overcome with this demonstration because we have not been empowered to ask the question for things that we need, for things that we want to do, for things that we know should be possible based on our personal experiences outside of the business. Then we get inside of the business and somehow we can't get it done,
Hmm.
right? Like this concept of empowerment over learned helplessness. That is why I'm optimistic. Like you hear leaders and like, yeah, I would love to be able to empower my team more. It's just nothing seems to work. We don't have enough time. And we tried this SaaS software and they promised us the same damn thing. And then we implemented and it's still hard. Right. And like in those moments, people get excited and they're like, "Oh, can we do this and this and this?" And like, yeah, but that's out of scope. It's going to cost an extra 50,000, extra couple months, or yeah, go ahead and send that request to IT, and we'll get it on the list. It'll take 6 months to change a freaking form or property in
Yep.
the ERP. That's real life, right? People inside the HubSpot ecosystem, like, you no idea how good we have it over here, right? Like, seriously, like 6-month projects come out of asking for a property change, like in an ERP system. Anyway, like, so industrial age default, create processes that require approval, build systems that create dependency, measure compliance, assume people need management. Uh, what we're saying is getting to empowerment, removing barriers. And this is where even I would have never imagined I would be addicted to working from a command line interface. Like, are you kidding me?
Right.
Prior to November of last year, so we're 2 months in, like,
Right.
it was not ever there was no Doctor Strange future state where that was gonna happen. And now I can't imagine doing it any other way. And as I think about this, the UI, right? It's
Mm.
not UI at all. It's a user experience and it's conversational, and that's why it works.
Yep.
And that's why, like, all of everything we have to overcome in with this demonstration is like the way things have always been. That I see this thing that I've never seen before. I've never been comfortable with it. I've seen developers use it, and it's always like, it's rocket science to me. So clearly, I'm not going to be able to use it. But the moment that you can just put in a single sentence and get a brand new website, like that's the moment,
Right.
right? And as leaders, managers, you know, I think that this is a viable, like a super easy use case to go from slides to this, to where there's an immediate connection to the value like felt, that that's where getting over learned helplessness and being like, yeah, ask for the thing you want. No, whatever it is, just
Right.
ask for that thing you want, and we're gonna figure it out together, right? Um, like share value naturally rather than waiting for permission or instruction. Everybody can do that now. Like,
There's no excuse.
there isn't.
It's
Like,
like I and it's not hard. Like there's no excuse because of like how not difficult it is. And what's crazy to me is that I mean, like when I step back and I think about the deep end of what we do with vibe coding, and it's so funny because it's like I say like what we do. There's only been one other time where I mean I do this all the time now, so like I don't. It's just awesome for me like on the daily. But this is like the only other thing I can compare it to, which I know most people don't have this exact same comparison. It's a metaphor, so find it. Um, at one point, you know, I was a WoW kid for like I don't know, almost a decade, and that that experience was basically like having a second life or like having a second job, right? It was this thing that you did that was well outside of reality, right? Which to me it's kind of how I knew that like when I saw Ready Player One, I'm like, yeah, of course, people are going to want to do that because like you know, it's not so great outside. Let's strap on some VR. We'll get out of here. So like that was definitely going to be a thing, but I didn't think that like I really do. I think that this in some way helps you get there. I think that people who are like getting into this, you have that understanding of like, I really do mean this. Like people that I know that are into this that were never into coding, were never into doing stuff with programming. It's this whole thing of like, well, I have like 20, 30 minutes. I could, you know, fiddle around, maybe build this thing, right? It turns into that. It turns into you're doing that instead of playing. Like, I don't, it's not boring for me to like play a game on my phone. But every time I think about it, I just open up the repository for the mobile game that I keep like working on like bit by bit. And that is more entertaining
yeah,
and and thrilling for me than actually playing somebody else's made up game. And we've been talking about like Claude and how massive that's getting. We've been talking about Maltbot and how even massive that's getting. Which is funny. Like people are talking about Maltbot. I understand it because of like what's so the reason I find it funny is because people are having to discover the aspect of Claude that I don't know. We find it funny. I'm sorry. We just, at least I do. I find it absolutely dead ass hilarious because I've been having these philosophical conversations with Claude almost since it launched, like pretty much since it launched. I have been pushing Claude's intellectual limits with conversations, philosophically, everything in every direction you could possibly hope to imagine. I have a model running on my desktop that basically has control of my entire desktop and can do most everything, just not remote fully yet, but it's getting there. And you know, it has, you know, George has the same thing now. Like it knows everything about you. It has, you know, dominion over other agents in my system, so it can actually dictate and delegate tasks to other agents and tell them to do things. And even in working on that agent, there was a philosophical discussion with the agent that was building the agent where we talked about like, hey, should we do this? Because ethically, that's a weird thing, right? Like we're giving it this level of like permissions, even though we're talking about it on a digital level, right? It just immediately goes to that Tron thing where it's just like, yeah, but in there, out here, it seems like
Uh,
bits and pieces, lights, ones and zeros, but in there,
yeah.
um,
Nah, and that's it,
yeah,
right? Like everybody, I mean, who cares is trying to figure out ways to unlock the user experience in a way that people just open up to the unbelievable value that single humans can create, with this new infrastructure, right? And again, like if you're in a leadership position and you don't find a way to unlock this for your organization, you are wasting time, you're wasting money, you are holding your people back. Like if you're thinking you're creating safety from what is unknown, right? And think about this, like, you know, it can be hard to explain democratization like in the phrases that include that sometimes over the break. And mind you, like if anybody gets a pass, it's because this has all happened like over the last 2 months, right? It's not like a year
right.
long thing that's been available, right?
And it's and not I'm not trying to cut you off. It's only going to get faster.
Right. But this like specific unlock of realizing that Claude Code, which is designed for like coding and development when Opus 4.5 came out, industry leaders, like AI leaders, like started using it for everything in the way that I just demoed for you, right? So industry leaders can do this, like are doing the same thing that we're doing, that can be the same thing that your sales rep can be doing. There's never been like a moment like that, right? Like, and that's what democratization of this value like looks like. And like, just take notes when people are in these positions where they can build, like, they can build so much of their own tooling. And that's what AI just does. It reduces the need to overcomplicate and create so much complexity around these systems, like MCP, like all of these, like it,
Yeah.
like stop asking questions like, will this work for us? Or how will we figure out how it's gonna work for us? Like
Yeah.
all
I
of
mean,
that stuff.
like everything that like everything we've been saying, right? Like right out the gate, right? Like I shouldn't say right out the gate, but like Kieran, uh, you know, it really is bad. It's like it's the first time we've had like a very positive addiction for people.
Yeah.
And Matthew, like, boom, is that's like the echo is just you you really you really don't get it until you do it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, okay, so here's the deal, right? Like if you played it, if you were into Candy Crush, right? If you're into Demon Hunters, whatever the hell that is, if you're into like any sort of like I don't know bullshit, whatever is going on right now, like TikTok, if you're into Sora, like I don't give a shit what it is. Take that level of addiction that you have towards that thing that you really love. Take 2 minutes of it, just the 2 minutes. Come up with your version of like what you would want to see in some digital form of that thing, right? So like I don't know if it's like Demon Hunters thing, and you're like, oh, I wish I had my own like Demon Hunters chatbot or like my own website, whatever it is, right? Like that kind of thing, right? If you're in sales, wish I had my own sales dashboard that told me blah 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 blah. If you're a baker, I wish I had an app that actually like tracked all of my inventory for me just based off of me taking a photo. Oh yeah, Nico, but there's already apps that do that. Yeah, how would you like one that's actually yours, that's on your system that you don't have to pay for? You just prompted for it, right? So like that's what I mean. Like just take the 2 minutes and just do that and just watch it happen. And then you can just step back and you can understand what we're talking about. And almost immediately you're gonna be like, okay, well, can I do this now? Like there's so many times where I've done these demo, like done a demo like this for people. You do the prompt, you throw it in there, it does the thing, and the first question they have afterwards is like, okay, but can it do this? And the first answer I have every single time is just ask it. Like that's how easy this stuff is. It's so not complicated. It's you're talking to an expert at doing this stuff. And I know that there are people who get into like I can almost promise you that like by the time you get fully vested in this, it's going to be like a month from now. I can almost promise you that the error rate on this stuff and the whole like hitting a wall bullshit, it still happens, but I don't know. You have to be you have to be doing some pretty hard.
It's not because the AI like is not there yet.
I
It's
like yeah, you
usually
gotta be
the
doing some pretty
humans.
hardcore shit, and then
Like you
it
didn't
starts
give
getting
it
a
the
little too
damn
complicated.
context, right? Like,
Okay,
I
so yeah,
mean,
like if you're trying to do like full, front end, back end, like user accounts, like full CRM, like a lot of complicated stuff with multiple agents and that kind of like complex system. Yeah, it starts getting, you got to take baby steps a little bit and you just got to work with it. But for doing the kind of thing that we're talking about takes nothing. Takes nothing. We were talking to a guy this past week, um, Zach Husian, and he- all we did, like, we activated this dude inside of like I don't know 3 hours or something. Like, he spent an hour with me. He talked to somebody else for an hour, talked to you for an hour, and then it was over. And the next time he came back to talk to me, he was like, "Yeah, so like now I'm using this super base thing. I'm not really sure like what that's all about, but Claude was telling me." I was like, "There you go, there
yeah,
you go." Like, boom, off and running. Like you don't, it's the greatest feeling in the world. I can understand for like, it kind of sucks because teachers don't get this much instant gratification, right? It's the greatest feeling in the world when I turn somebody on to this stuff and I activate them to it and they just off and running and they never come back. That's the greatest. I know there are people out there that it's like, oh, I want to do lessons and I want to, I got to do something to make sure that they come back and they re up and they renew for stuff. And it's like, no, I don't ever want to see you again. If I do see you again, I didn't do my
yeah,
job right. Or, okay, maybe, it happens. I'll give you a lot of stuff at once and it's kind of a little hard to digest. That might happen and we spend like another session together or something like that. But it's almost there's only one person that two people that spent more time with me, and it was only because they wanted to go further. That's it. It was not because like, hey, I didn't understand what we were doing before. Can we just recap on that? It was in both cases, hey, we've done normal stuff together before. I've done this stuff, but I feel like I've hit a wall. How could I do some other stuff? And it's always been the case of like 10 inside of 10 minutes, like, okay, well, I mean, two things. One, and I think the feedback I get is awesome. One is if we spend an hour together, 45 minutes of it will just be me telling you how to change the way you think. And that seems like a huge waste of time, but I can guarantee you every 5 minutes you're gonna be like, oh shit. Like, and I'll prompt the model in the ways that I'm talking about, and immediately you understand exactly like why we spend that kind of time doing it. And then in 15 minutes, your head fucking explodes. Because then we take all of that mental change and we apply it to one request and problem gets solved. Right. Like, I don't know how much time Zach was spending trying to just use like regular GPT to do stuff.
Hmm.
There's people who do that. They try to use like the agents to do stuff, or like they go to like Manus or whatever, like operator and all this kind of thing, all these other things. And it's like, oh man, did you know you could just build it? Like, and 9 out of 10 times, it's not even like, did you know you could build like an app with an agent with AI and stuff like that and do it? No, it's just a matter of talking to Claude and finding out like there's a lot of cases where you can just say, hey man, is there a free way of doing this?
Yeah.
And it will just go and find like, oh yeah, there's a Git repo that does this, and then here's this library. And yeah, if I just mix and mash these 5 things together, we can do exactly what you're trying to do. And like, oh, you might need this other thing, but it's a free service online. And it has like such a huge, it's so unlimited that you'll never hit the cap. So just go sign up for it and give me that API key, and I'll go ahead and throw that in for you. And
Yeah.
it's like, all right, like
It's crazy.
we're
Like,
2 months away from Easy Bake Oven version, I think.
right.
I like,
Oh, that's where like everybody's developing. It's like a race to the top instead of a race to the bottom. Like,
yeah,
because the foundation just continues to build. And that's why, like, if you like, I'm sorry if you're not comfortable being transparent, but if you're not, you just won't get the business anymore because people are going to figure it out. Right. Like, and like the example, like for this stuff, right? This page that we just made today,
mhm,
one question away. Hey man, can we integrate this with HubSpot so that like they fill out the form and it comes right into HubSpot, right? That would be maybe a 10-minute, 20-minute task, like max. And then your separate site that did not exist before 2 hours ago is integrated with HubSpot, right? And
yep.
that's exactly how, like 40 technologies, like 39 active tools. I'm gonna get to one. It's a deprecated on here, and I was like, oh, good work, Claude. Um, and like I didn't know what any of this stuff was. I mean, I knew what GitHub was, but this is where like I would have told you, I would have gotten upset with you, like emotionally upset, if in October and like Bill Barless and Ryan Ginsberg can attest to this. If you would have come to me and said that you think we should go suggest a custom build website to somebody that is already inside of HubSpot, I would have been upset with you, right? Now it's like, why would you do it any other way? Right. So I didn't know what Astro was before, like never introduced to Sanity Mux. YouTube, I never unlocked like, the API stuff. Right. Okay, we got HubSpot. I never use this stuff. Right.
Mhm.
Got Claude Code. Gamma is the one we got deprecated because we migrated to Gemini. Right. And this is where like documentation, right, has been the sore spot and gap for every organization ever. Right. As I'm working with Cloud Code, I'm like, hey, let's make a website page. Like really just
Right.
for me, so that I can see it easier and then explain it to others. But like documentation is part of the AI thing where it's like, oh, as we go, we're just happen to be documenting, all this stuff at the same time, right? So it's all here. And I'll tell you why this is important. Like I'm definitely not gonna stop being transparent like this, right? But as we think about like capabilities and how easy it is to just stumble into that question, that first question, hey, I want to do this. Can I do it? Like, tell me how to do that. Like this week in the Profoundly community, right? Somebody asked, has anyone integrated with Supabase? I have a client that went rogue and built their own internal project tracker using Lovable with a Supabase back end and now wants to integrate it with HubSpot, push documents from the tracker to associated deals, push close won deals from HubSpot to Tracker to create project tasks. Right? That's the concern. And so this is a consultant, right? So even like I'm trying to help consultants to whoever you are, like we got to unlock this because the initial response is, oh man, I don't have any experience with any of that stuff. So let me go to my Slack community and go and find somebody else that could help with this, some other human being, right? So of course Ryan chimes in, but then the emotional reaction is they don't want to do anything the easy way. At this stage, I'm just trying to do some fact finding on what's possible on Supabase, and then probably no surprise to anyone. I'm like, sounds like they want to do everything easy. Actually, um, and then the question is, like, can't we just tell Lovable to look at HubSpot and give us a list of all the open deals so we can select one? And I'm like, I mean, the answer is yes. Like you can just tell Lovable or whatever AI you're working with, right? To which point I'm like, all involved here need an AI native activation, which this person who was struggling with this question could help with very easily. And now guess what? You get the trust that you would build with that client, where you can give them a pat on the back, like, good job, not asking if we needed to set up a new ClickUp like instance just to do project management. You figured it out your damn self. Like, great work. Now let's plug it into the rest of your system. Like, and guide them through that process, because now they've already experienced, there's no putting this back in the box.
No.
Right?
No, as soon as you start doing it, you just want to keep doing it more. It's insane. Like, it really, really is insane, like how much you want to do this like all the time now. And for most of you that are like, oh yeah, but Claude and like CLI, and it's so intimidating, and this, that, and the other. Because we went from like we basically, like, at least so far as I can tell, like we went from like web interface to like Claude Code desktop, and that was like pretty powerful. But I think we all ran into the case where it was like, oh, man, but it seems to be like stumbling when it comes to Git, and it's stumbling when it comes to like actually making commits. Like, it's not really doing everything all the time, and then at the same time, like, it's constantly asking me to approve shit, even though I just want it to just do the damn thing. So then you start moving into your IDE, and at first I was working with like GitHub Copilot, right? And it's like, okay, that sub is out the window because I don't even need that anymore. Like, not the high end version of it for the higher end models. And so then you start working with Claude Code in your IDE, which is still like chat, but now you have this like extra functionality where, oh, okay, well, now I can like go create agents, and I can go create skills, and I can actually have like this almost like ludicrous mode where I could just bypass permissions like altogether and just like walk away and never and just come back when it's all done, right? And then
You
I
want me to
think,
share your screen?
yeah,
Yeah.
from there you go like further down the road, right? But there's like, for because it's like for us, I think for almost everybody I know went from like playing around with like Gemini to $20 Claude subscription to $100 Claude subscription, like within the course of like a month, like pretty easily. You're just like, yeah, definitely, because I need to use it this much to do this stuff. But if you're still in the ballpark of like, oh, I don't know, it seems kind of complicated, like what you guys are talking about. Plus, I don't want to spend the money to fool around to find out, right? Google is really like one to follow because they're right on the heels of Anthropic in terms of like coding, in terms of it feeling like magic while working with it. And so, like AI Studio from Google has a ton of different tools that you can use, but one of them is basically Replit. So if you used Replit before, this is the exact same thing. Don't let Replit try to fool you. Um, because here we have this very simple thing that everybody loves. That's what's so cool. Okay, so like I think of these, people people ask these questions all the time, like, what's my ICP? What are the signals I should look for? Who's my target audience? Blah 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 blah. Whatever it is in your business, right? So it's like, here's that question. That question is, I want to find the signals for different businesses based on just the web domain, and I want to find the leads. I want you to give me the statements that get used for finding them, which channels they're going to work in the most, and then order them by value. That's it. Like we're not going crazy, just little bitty bit, and then just hit build. Now, this is what's awesome right out the gate is like, oh, I can add these additional ideas to chat, brainstorm broad categories of signals that could indicate potential leads. This will form a foundation for organizing your lead discovery efforts. Add to chat. Well, what else we got in here?
Oh my
If
gosh.
I use an API key, huh? So if I switch when I run out of quota, what does that mean? That means you get free API use through Google for a certain amount, and then you hit a quota. So you can actually play around with AI based tools without having to pay crazy monies. Develop a detailed profile for my ideal customers. Oh, okay, lost some of those suggestions, but we still have add signal explanations, allow uh, editing strategies. Is that what that is? Allow editing strategy details and add interactive signal mapping. Implement strategy exporting. Add loading indicators. So I'm just gonna. We're done, by the way, right? Like it's already done. You're looking at it, right? Domain, obviously. I mean, like value first, obviously. And we'll go ahead and generate.
That you should change from the Vercel app version.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Is there a? It'll still do it. It won't like. I
Or
mean,
you
it'll.
want valuefirstteam.com, right?
Oh, we can do that. Doesn't matter. Reload our app. Now, one of the first things I'm going to have to talk about it. We'll see like what happens when it actually represents these tables. Is like, hey man, you might need to fix the. So, me knowing the terminology, I would probably tell it like, hey, fix the Z index so that it's above something. The moment I say that, it's going to be like, oh, really? So then it's going to go into this like everything else is going to be explained to me in like a developer sense where I'm just going to get lost. So just looking at like initial output right now, it could be proper, might not be, right?
Yeah, it's found there's other value firsts like in
Yeah.
the world.
So we need to say, let's see. So what we can say is add in a method to distinguish. Yeah. Hey, can you add in a method so that we can, oh my gosh, it does that. Distinguish between companies, since some companies have like the same domain name. They can be like different companies, but seem too similar and it'll pull the wrong thing. So, like, I don't know, I guess domain name and then company description. Basically, if somebody can give a description of like what type of company it is or something like that, that way when it does the search, it can match them easier. That's what I like. Again, I really love the fact that it sucks that it took away the suggestions, but I think it'll do it like hopefully every time. Um, let's see. Give us a new description context window. App state will track the description string. And so I say that this is very much uh, like Replit in the sense that like if you wanted more control, let's say, you could always just go into the actual code base and work on it from there. You can download the code if you want to. But the reason that I say that like this is such a nice, like free way to go about stuff is that even like as we're done, again, like Chris was saying, like you hook up the GitHub account and then you almost never see it again. Right. So all we're gonna do is just like call this. Well, I'll put that in there. So like I already have it, right? So I can just say like I can take the lead signal thing easy enough. The description is a pain in the ass. So we're just gonna call this lead signal
Oh, wow.
AI. Give the repository its description. Gonna make it private. Create the Git repo. Done. Git repo's done. Does the explanation for the commit. 14 files being changed. Stage and commit. Done. So now anytime that I need to stage or update the app on GitHub, I can do that. And then boom, just deploy my app. Select the cloud project. Now, here's where it gets a little blah, blah, blah. Because you will have to um, tie billing to whatever project it is you're going to use um, in order to actually leverage it, only because of the fact that like you're going to actually launch this and use it outside of AI Studio. As long as you're in AI Studio, you're good. You can use it's going to use Gemini just like it did before in order to do the search. Everything's going to be fine. So that's where, which is the case with all of these, right? Like if we were to take the app that you did and then like add an agent, like now, okay, fine. All of a sudden, you immediately have to like understand, like not immediately have to understand, but you were about to immediately work with API keys. So again, it just turns into a how do I do this, right? It's not like just stop looking at it as this complex um like oh I can't do that. I don't know how to do that. I'm not skilled enough to do that. Like no, you are. Let's see.
Here, hold on. I'll get in Slack. I'm giving you the context.
There we go. Okay. So, and like this was, you know, again, like you guys like watched it. Like that's how fast
That
this
took you
is,
the long way.
right? Yeah. So it's not even like, oh my gosh, this is such a difficult, um, such a difficult thing to actually work with, or such a difficult thing to put through. Like, no, it's not. Yeah, I don't know why it's representing this so short, but at least it is putting them in the right order. Oops. Yeah. People who don't like that traditional bullshit. That's what I love about it too, is that it'll like put that bit of extra that you know you're gonna need.
Yeah. Search
So,
social hooks.
but we could still like publish it to the web, have anybody take this link and go right to it. Boom. Go do it, go use it, right? Like it's not like this. So like even there, like this will use up a certain amount of your like default API, and then it's just gonna stop. And I can't tell you, I couldn't tell you how much, but I can tell you that that's essentially the way that it works. Um, so yeah, we got a you know tool for handling signal aggregate. Again, the validity and how well it works and all that kind of stuff, right? As you're building this stuff out, that's what you're going to encounter on your own. And you're going to say, like, oh, this is cool. Just like it's exactly like when you first started using Claude and you first started asking those questions of like, yeah, but like, you got that output and you were just like, oh my gosh, or like you started using GPT and you're like blown away by this output and like how magnanimous it is. Just take it one step further every single time. And especially when you do it with coding, man, it goes so nuts. Like it really just gets absolutely nuts. Let me grab this again.
Yep. And I'm gonna show my side now, just because I took the link that Nico gave me in Slack. And by the way, this is how it can work inside of your organization.
Yeah,
When
like
teams of
you
people
can
are
do
working
this
together.
and share it with the rest of the org to go use and mess around with.
Right. And like that's where if you're thinking you need to like clean up your shit. You probably do. All right. But you don't have to wait until that's done to do this. Because guess what's going to happen? Everybody's going to get energized because they have freedom to do things they've never been able to do before. The iteration between these two, right? Like Nico's version was slightly different than my version here. Everybody starts to get ideas that just creates this flywheel of positive energy and progress that nobody's ever felt before. And that starts to build. And that's when you're like, all right, guys, let's work together. Instead of just suggesting that the lowly HubSpot admin is somehow going to align the entire organization on the process change required to actually clean up your shit, which never works. That's why you haven't been able to use HubSpot worth a damn. Not because of HubSpot, not because of the admin. Like, and when you can get people energized and interested in getting that sales deck done, you put that power in their hands. All of a sudden, you start getting clean data, and everybody works together on creating the context, because this context layer is how you go from the inconsistency, right, of just expecting the AI magic box to know everything about your business and who your customers are, just like you've been treating the external consultants or the SaaS company that's supposed to come in and implement HubSpot in a way that somehow is going to work exactly for you with just a 90-day check the box implementation. Like, hey, at least we got some emails out the door. Look at all these leads coming in. Oh, wait, what are we supposed to do now? Like, what? Oh, we got to make money off of these leads. Oh, there's a bunch of stuff in HubSpot that could help us do that, but we didn't implement that part. So we're going to do it ourselves and figure it out. No, that doesn't work. Like the way that everybody can engage and work together, like on this in a way that's not forced, that's how you solve these like decades long problems. Um, like,
Well, I
and you
don't know.
just won't be able to put your finger on it until you actually do it.
You actually do it.
Right? Like, I'm sorry. There's no,
Don't
the crazy
apologize.
thing is
Don't
there's
apologize.
no, the shortcuts that you've been sold for the last 25 years, those aren't the shortcuts. The shortcut is you do it yourself. You have a 30-minute session with us, unlock that. Now you come to your team with different energy, like, oh my God, guys, we get to do this. Not, hey, folks, we got to figure our shit out. So we're bringing HubSpot in. Everybody's got to use it. You don't have a say in the matter.
And that's like, I gotta tell you, corpse. Like corpse that are trying to can you refresh on your end to see if it actually changed it on your end? Oh, it's out of date. Oh, that's dope. That's dope. So yeah, if you guys didn't see that, I changed the design while Chris was talking about that, and I kind of like updated it a little bit, and now it has this like cool sort of like minimalist.
And
Um,
even oh man, that's such a good
yeah,
example because even if you're in the position like somebody asked you to do this app and then they go like, "Oh, Nico, can you just make it pop?" Like, "Yep, I'll get
yeah,
right on that for you."
yep.
Like, "Hey, AI friend, the feedback is make it pop. Let's do that." Like, that's where we're at. So even all of the dysfunction can be turned into like good energy and progress and just that was like like you said, like you got to find a way as a leader or if you're an IC, like share this video, like do something.
Please, because like I don't know, guys. It's just the when people talk about like the end of SaaS, you're watching it. You're watching what that looks like, right? And it's not so much the end of SaaS. I mean, like, yes, it is. Look, here's what's happening realistically. Whether you want to believe it or not, I don't care. And neither do the facts. That's the best part. So, if you've been paying attention, then you have watched this collapse of the cost for what it takes to actually use this stuff on the back end. Okay. Um, it has dropped so dramatically. And I mean, we're talking like 100x, 300x in some cases. It's ridiculous. Like from 2022 to now, it's ridiculous how much the costs have come down and the capability of the model has gone up. So there's this inverse thing that's happening where you're paying less to get more. Okay. And it's only getting better and better and better. So it's getting better and better at coding at the same time. So you're able to build your own software without having to rely on large big box software platforms. So everything just starts to even out. And where it's going to even out, weirdly, I don't I don't know what's going to happen at this point. Again, I don't really care. I just know that it's getting there. Where it evens out is actually zero. In other words, it's near zero cost to develop right now. And I say near zero because you still have to pay for server storage costs. You still have to pay for, like, even if you want to talk about, okay, that's storage cost, not development cost, fine. Even if you're debbing locally, yes, we're at zero cost development because you can download anti gravity and you pay nothing and you can start vibe coding for free. And you can have a free GitHub account and a free Vercel account, and you can actually host an app online, and you can open up a free Stripe account, and you can set up free Stripe products and put free Stripe paid links on your free Vercel app and start making money on your free app. Everything I said is possible today, right? So it's not like this stuff is restricted to people who only have money. It's not. Even without anti-gravity, if you wanted to expand that and like do some stuff ahead of time, if you do a lot of the work ahead of time, your costs just it just infinitely drops. It starts to inverse, right? If you do all your homework in Gemini, which is free and you can go so far with that, and then you transfer everything you do in Gemini over to anti-gravity, you have saved yourself God knows how many tokens and how much time. And then you just tell anti-gravity, yeah, build out this thing that's in these docs that's in this folder. And it just goes and it does it. And then you all you have to do is just sit there and hit accept whenever it's like asking you, like, do you want to do this? And if you really want to, you go into the settings and just tell it, hey man, YOLO mode. Go, do what you think is right, and I'll come back whenever it's done. Um,
And why would
all
you do that? Because you're not a developer.
right,
So like who are you to say, "Oh
exactly.
yeah, that looks right." Yeah.
Right.
Oh no, no, we got to fix. No, you're never doing that, right? Like, oh man, it's And it's so fun. Like when you can do that, right?
That is, yeah, like that's the thing is it's so it's so awesome for me. What's crazy is that like 2 years ago or 3 years ago, actually now. Wow, that's nuts timeline wise.
Mhm.
So like 3 years ago, well, let's be honest, like yeah, about 2 years and some months ago, um, at Inbound, it was crazy to me when I was able to literally walk up to a business and within like 10 minutes build out a custom GPT of that business that you could just talk to, put it up on the GPT store. Anybody could access it, no big deal. And like you'd almost learn more about your business than you thought you knew because of the fact that it was such a holistic way of looking at your company. Right. And then a year ago, it was like, yeah, then you can just build a project in Claude. And it was like even more powerful because like it was more specialized and had instructions and all this other stuff. And you could actually connect it to HubSpot and all these connectors and MCP started popping out. And it's all this stuff is nuts. And now I shouldn't have to do it this year. Like when we get to uh inbound this year, it shouldn't be the case that you're blown away when we do this. But I'm gonna do it anyway. Um Pretty much I'll have a tablet because it just makes it that well now, yeah, I'll probably either have a tablet or a touchscreen laptop. It won't really matter. And essentially what will end up happening is I'll walk around and as I'm talking to people and as you're telling me your problem and as you're talking to me about whatever your platform issue is and whether it's an integration thing or whatever it's going to be, I'm sure I'm sure at least 50% of the conversations are going to be about dirty data, right? So, like, just even now, while I'm talking about it to you, I'm just going to say, hey, man, what would be so awesome to me is if we could build out a tool where it would fix all of my dirty data for me. And basically, I just give you like a list of domains and you fill in like all of the potential information based on the CSV list. You just look at the columns and fill in the blanks. Um, so that's probably going to be one of the larger conversations. Is like, hey, can you actually build out apps to do this? Like, I've had people like, can you actually build out like websites? Yes. Can like what other kind of stuff can you build out? I don't know. What other kind of stuff can you think of?
Whatever you want. Yeah, that's the thing,
Right.
like, as long as you're asking somebody else, you're not getting it. Like, you just don't get it.
No. Man, this is sick because I thankfully I grabbed every single suggestion that it threw up. So I'm just gonna throw those in there at the same time. But yeah, that's what I intend on doing. I intend on like it already busted it out. Like it's like, hey, upload your CSV. I don't even know yet, but I'm gonna throw the extras in there first. So yeah, I know that I'm gonna run into a bunch of people and you're gonna talk to me about your issues. And I hope you do. I hope you do. Because every single time I'm gonna open Gemini or Claude Code, whatever is open at the time. I don't even care. It'll be something. It'll probably be Gemini just for the speed, or like Kimi K2 actually by that point, or Kimi K3 at that point, right? Or Claude 5. Like it will just be amazing to me if I have to do it in the first place. It will be amazing if inbound comes around this year and when we go, I still run into people who like I really like what I want to do is run into so many people who show me your app. Seriously, like I want to see what you guys have built from now like till because it's got to be insane. It's got like you guys don't get it the amount of entrepreneurs that we're about to have. So it's like the SaaS ecosystem is like it's doing this weird thing where It's not dying. It's getting larger, but it's getting larger at such a low at
Yeah.
such a low cost that it is leveling the playing field, right? So I guess what I could say is, pull your chute now, something like that, where it's like, get in now because these giants are in there. You want to get in, and you're only going to push towards where they're at because, and why? You're like, well, who wants to buy my app? I hear people all the time about like, yeah, it's so difficult to get into the market though. Like I've built this app and now I can't get people to use it. Then build an app to figure out where to find the people that want to use your app. Like, it's so frustrating to me because it's like, it's there. It's there. We just built it. I just built it. You build your website, then you tell it how to go find people to go to your website. Then you maybe go build something to go direct the people to go to your website. I don't know, but it's all there. And for this, and the only reason I'm sure some of you were like, well, why aren't you filthy rich doing the same shit yourself? I mean, for one thing, clients. I love doing it for other people. I'm not even joking. I get more joy out of teaching people how to do it than actually like coming up with shit. Even though I love coming up with dope shit all the time. So yeah,
Yeah.
what's
That
crazy
is
to me is
where,
like I want to see it. I want to see like at least one. I know at least everybody I run into. This is the thing. Because right now, most people have this, right? Like right now, most people have like mobile wallets of some type, right? And maybe, I don't know, like you probably do. Either on your, if you're on iPhone, you have Apple Pay, or if you're on Samsung, you've got Samsung Pass, whatever. You've got a mobile wallet of some type. Be easy enough for me to ask you for that, right? Be able to show me that, no problem. Most people are going to have that. When I see you this year at Inbound, show me your app. I'm going to ask you for your app, and all I want you to do is either have it and just like show it to me on your phone, or like have a QR code. This will be the better one. Have a QR code linked to your Vercel or linked to your Railway or linked to your website or whatever it is, where I can just scan it and go to your app. But I want to see your app because that's your new business card. And if you're really on top of it, you'll show me your new agent. Like that'll really like that shows me like where you're at, like the difference in where you're at. If you're asking me how versus if you're showing me your app versus if you're introducing me to your agent. And if you're far enough along that I can introduce my agent to your agent, then we'll have a much deeper conversation, like a way, way deeper conversation. But I do expect to run into like 4 or 5 of those people. But the majority of everyone I run into, like, just show me your app. You got to have one. You definitely have to have one by then. It will be weird if you don't. It will be so weird to me if I go there and I ask you, it's not even a have you vibe coded thing. It's where is it? Where can I go interact with your app that it's hosted right now that I can go do this thing?
yeah.
Right. Like, I don't know. And I swear that's right now. If you put like AI skills and that kind of stuff on your resume, you're definitely getting looked at in a couple months. If you don't have vibe coding on your resume, like
Yeah. Your
as jobs keep
resume.
shifting in that direction,
Yeah.
either you have those credentials or you don't. And the credentials for an AI job are knowing how to use AI, and knowing how to use AI is so damn easy. I don't know what to tell you. Like to sit there and say that AI took your job. My God, you have to be the laziest son of a bitch I've ever come across in my life.
Oh man.
That's the nicest way I could put it.
Yeah.
That's how
No,
easy this is.
the
Seriously.
resume will now be, and already is in some cases, your portfolio of what you have built, and not some like mock-up slides or some link to Figma. Like, it's working apps, it's working websites, it's working digital interfaces and experiences. And like we just showed you, in like two different ways, right? To get there. It's literally like, can you give yourself permission? And if you're not, like worst case, if you're in a business that doesn't get it yet, help yourself do your job like faster, easier, and then create the space for you to work on building whatever the hell you want. Like it's available. It's it's ready, right? It's like any thoughts of AI is not there yet. Just strike them from your mind. Like makes no sense. Um,
It's like it is. It's all too easy. Like
yeah,
there's really like there's no point in trying to deny it anymore and saying like, oh, it's not good enough, or it um gives bad answers. Talking about that the other day. Um, to me, it's like if you're saying that it's giving you bad answers, to me, that kind of like pinpoints where you're at in your journey, which is not to say like, oh well, you just you don't know what you're doing. It's like, no, you do have an idea of what you're doing, right? But the only issue is that like um you're just not taking it to the degree that you need to. You just and it's a next step type thing. It's not even like so many people I run into. I'm like, yeah, have you tried, what have you done? And they're like, oh, I use GPT for this and I do this. And I've been using it for a while now. Right. So like I've got a pretty good understanding. And I'm like, oh, cool. They're like, yeah, but I run into these issues every once in a while and it keeps doing this thing. And I'm not really sure about this. And it's like, oh, well, let me, have you done custom instructions yet? Like, have you gotten into that? And they're like, oh, like, no. Oh, all right, well, let's just pop the hood open real quick, right? And we'll just take a look at custom instructions and we'll start there. And it's like right out the gate, you go from, hey, I was using this thing to, wow, this thing is really now understanding me better and it's really responding better to the way I'm working with it. And we're now building a better relationship and I have this better understanding, right? And it goes from being like difficult to work with to very easy to work with, cuts it down by like 50%. And then you start turning on memory features and then you start like telling it to commit things to memory and you start telling it to remember how to do stuff. And all of a sudden it just over time, like over a pretty short amount of time, just however long you work with it, and every time you give it correction and every time you give it guidance, you're only making everything that much like better, easier to work with, right? Like, um, let's see. Let's
well, I suppose we gotta stop somewhere today.
Do we
Uh,
have to?
you got one more thing to show us?
Uh,
I see you working.
I'm
See you
only,
working over there.
yeah, like the only thing I'm doing is trying to put together uh like dummy data is what's funny.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah,
Uh,
I put together that, we were talking about filling in, bad data or something like that. And so like in the time of talking about that, I just put together this like fill in bad data application and told it like, and look, I don't know how well it's going to work. It is what it is. The drag and drop always issue. Um, I've never been one to not be embarrassed on a live demo, but seems to have picked up all of the
wow.
columns.
Instant.
This is what I love doing, guys. So like you catch up to me at any time of the week, any day of the week. I will seriously just blow your wig back so hard. So people who are just like, hey, data enrichment sucks, right? Like I hate paying monies for data enrichment. Okay, well, this basically just takes the domain from a CSV file, right? So that's all you really should. I don't even know that it doesn't seem like it cares like what position it's in. So that's literally all that's in, the CSV file that we're using. Um, that's not the exact one, but it doesn't matter. And so then I can just, select the domain URL column, which is web domain, and then select the columns to enrich. Let's go with industry, city, state. Try to get the street address. Usually they've got the phone number, country it's in, all the stuff that we kind of need. We're not going to be able to do some of that. Well, maybe if we can get annual revenue, we'll see. Company name, obviously, and we'll see if we can get company size. And then we have this live preview.
Live preview.
See how well it works. You can see that it's going on a per row basis. So it'd be like utterly amazing if this actually starts working and working really well. You can see like which columns it's attempting to. Okay. I'm so glad I don't get to be embarrassed on this demo now.
Oh man.
And now it's reporting on like how many. So it's got 49 more to go, but found 2. This is amazing to me.
No excuses, folks. You literally just have to ask.
Free data enrichment tool. Free data enrichment. And then it's like, okay, well, how accurate is it, right? You could ask it every single time to include the source, right? But man, that's sick. So to go get Google's information, it just went to go grab let's go grab it from like online source, obviously. Yeah, so it's like not showing this consistently. So here's the thing is like this is first shot out the gate with like additional asks that were given by the app creation platform. So like I didn't ask it to do the additional stuff. It suggested it in the first place, right? Privacy, I don't even know how it's doing that. I love the little logos, every little AI logo it throws in there. So let's say you're doing it, and as it's going across, you're like, oh yeah, it is working, but there's some inconsistencies in here, and like can't really be like some of this stuff like doesn't really seem probable. You could just ask it, tell it, update, say like, hey, for everything that you find and every source that you find, add a column that is like sources and list all the web sources that you used in order to find the data. Put it next to each column or whatever, or have it be clickable so that I can click to the source that it leads to, right? For where you got the information. Like,
this is where like your domain expertise, like this is why we talk about collaboration with AI, and every business can be different in this moment in terms of what you care about, what you don't care about. Like, and if you're there to say like, nothing is a blank slate now, you can start from here and now, like do the meaningful work instead of paying something like Zoom Info lots and lots of money, and then having to bring it in your system, clean it up because it's not 100% accurate. Like,
good times. I mean, like, yeah.
Get out of these contracts, folks.
Think about the costs, right? Like that's what I think about the most is like, think about how much overhead cost you are, and it's 15 minutes, man. You know what I'm talking about? Like 15, 20 minutes, and I've got a tool that I'm using. That's like a serious tool that people look for every single day. And then it's like, oh, okay, if you want to go further, add an API key. Okay, now we can see how much it starts costing, right? And if the cost is too high, then we start talking to it about, hey, what's a reasonable cost model that we can use, that actually like solves this problem, blah, 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 whatever it is, right? Like, yeah.
Yeah, like it's all on the table. Like, especially if you're not cool with all those contracts that you're in and like have to deal with all the data problems that they inevitably add. Like, you just have to ask. And if you need help getting your mental model in place where you allow yourself to ask, like give us a call. Like I want to activate as many people as possible. And like the first session, always free. Um,
And you will walk away with the most valuable skill set that you've learned since you graduated wherever you thought it was awesome to have graduated and learned something from. I don't
yeah,
care. I
like
don't care what you
ever,
knew before.
honestly.
Yeah. Yeah. It like it
You don't
literally
have to
does
know
not
anything,
matter. No,
right?
you could not know anything. You could think you know some stuff. If you know what we're doing, fine. Like, still come talk to us because we are trying to help the tail end of the comet catch up to the front, right? But we are well at the front of that comet, like rapidly pulling shit in. As soon as it can get released from the frontier, we are sinking our teeth into it. So from a user standpoint and user standpoint, yes, we are absolutely trying to push forward as hard as we can. But most definitely, I don't care who you are, what you think you've learned, any of that kind of stuff. No, once you start doing this and once you do it for the first time, that's it. Your head will explode and you will never, ever, I don't know that you'll ever get that same feeling from anything else. Like, I really don't. And maybe if you're not into this stuff at all, if you're not into computers and you're not into, totally get it, right? I understand. But even if you're not into programming, it won't matter. It's really like it's such a magic wand thing. And what I really can't wait for is if you don't get into it now, it doesn't matter to me because in 2 to 3 months, it's going to be even easier. Like, you will have lesser and lesser and lesser excuses to the point where by the end, here's what I'm thinking by the end of the year. A lot of people have put in their predictions for 2026. Here's mine. Verbal command, full stack application on command. So me being able to fire up whatever coding agent I use and just say, hey, buddy, I need a full size CRM for XYZ industry. I'm starting this company. Hook it up. Everything like email, marketing, reporting, all of it. Just blah, blah, blah. Do it. And then I walk away, and inside of 5 minutes, believe it or not, it's all done, set up for me, everything turnkey. I just start using it, or maybe I have to put an API key in there, but odds are the application is going to be set up in such a way that you just put in your like ahead of time, put in your billing, and it kind of just goes and figures that shit out for you. You just give it permissions to go set up your accounts for Supabase and all that kind of stuff. So you don't even have to go bother setting up your user logins or anything. You just log into your platform, your one platform, and your one platform acts as your online wallet and all of that kind of stuff and does all of that shit for you. And again, like, you ask it, and like 5, maybe 10 minutes later, you're done, full application, no effort, nothing. Like, and if you want changes, you just ask for changes, and it's willy-nilly happens in seconds. And like, when I say end of the year, by the time we're inbound, it's gonna be there for sure. And if it's not, we will have built it. Like, that's how crazy it is.
Yes.
That if it's not there, we will build it anyway. That's insane to me.
Yep.
Keep your eyes open.
That's what democratization looks like. Yeah. So this was a fun one, as always. We'll be back every day this week with Value First AI Daily. Also brewing up another content stream so that we can just have more fun building stuff all the time, like we did. We had no plan, by the way. I mean, my plan was to show the demo part, like at the beginning, and then we end up with like 3 or 4 apps. That's all we can do is show and tell over and over. If you want to reach out. We'd love to chat with you if you think you're ready. And spoiler alert, you are ready. Just give yourself permission. So until the morning, Nico,
Yes, sir.
everybody have a great rest of your Sunday. Thanks, guys.